So a question I get asked a lot is, can I use my Farrier when transitioning my horse barefoot? And the short answer is yes, you absolutely can. However, that would be a very short video. So I want to discuss in this video a couple of considerations as to why you may want to use a barefoot trimmer instead of a Farrier, and also just discuss the individual person traits that make a good professional. So I thought we would start with basically explaining the main differences between different hoof care professionals in the UK. So they kind of come across many different subheadings. So you obviously, the most common one is a Farrier. That's pretty straightforward. Farrier is a Farrier, registered UK. They obviously have to go through their qualifications, DIP, WCF, AWCF, most common qualifications, and yeah, they're regulated in the UK, and they're the only professionals that can legally shoe a horse or prepare a horse's foot for the application of a permanent shoe. So a barefoot trimmer is not legally allowed to put a shoe on. Basically, they're not allowed to nail anything, but that also includes permanent things such as castings, glue on shoes. In other countries, a lot of barefoot trimmers are allowed to use casting and glue on materials, but in the UK that is deemed as a bit of a grey area and is more than likely illegal without the supervision of a vet. So the other term you probably most commonly have heard is barefoot trimmer, and there is another subcategory of this which are known as equine podiatrists. So I classify myself as an equine podiatrist, and that's not just because I'm being an occupation name snob, it's just because that is what my course was in. Sky here, I'm walking my dog this morning. So I trained with Equine Podiatry Training Limited, which is a LANTRA awarded, Ofqual accredited, regulated qualification. It's a level 5 qualification. I also hold a Bachelor's of Science in Equine Psychology and Sports Science, and I'm also a certified equine sports massage practitioner. So I have a very kind of whole horse health approach. I've done a lot of rehabilitation in the past, and actually I just wanted to kind of get into hoof care because I felt there was a lot missing in my education around hooves, and I wanted to fill that gap, and I fell in love with actually providing it as a service. That's what I decided to do full time. Some barefoot trimmers call themselves barefoot trimmers. In essence, they're very much the same as equine podiatrists. Most of them have come from a background of different sciences and equestrian related topics, and yeah, like there is no kind of trademark on what you call yourself. It's just personal preference, I suppose, what you like to be referred as. So those that are members of the Equine Podiatry Association, which is a UK self-regulated, note it's self-regulated, not enforced by law or anything, all of those members have done the equine training. All of those members have done the level 5 Equine Podiatry Training Limited course, which is a 2.5 to 3 year course. So all of those members have done exactly the same. Whereas if they're calling themselves a barefoot trimmer, they could have gone through one of the many other schools. There are also equine podiatrists that are also from another school that isn't EPT, so it can get very confusing for the everyday horse owner to know who's what and what they do and what their qualification levels mean. This is something that I suppose does need to be standardised in the industry. So yeah, so there's kind of a couple of, I suppose, qualification differences between barefoot trimmers, EPs, farriers, whatever you want to call us. The easiest thing for me to do is probably link a couple of the schools and qualifications below, perhaps in the comments, just because there's such a variety of different training and things like that, and one might speak to you more than another. So when you're trying to find a professional, you'll kind of know what their course entailed, and if that's someone that you perhaps like to hire for your horse. And what I will say is that you most definitely can use your Farrier to take your horse barefoot, particularly if you've got a really good working relationship with them already and they have an interest in barefoot hoof keeping. Farriers get a lot of flack online as kind of being the main reason why hoofs fail in the first place. What I would like to stress is that the industry standard across the board needs to be improved, and there are definitely barefoot trimmers that are also having ill effects on horses' welfare. You know, there's bad work all around. I just think we're in a culture of pointing fingers and kind of bad mouthing each other, when actually I do think we're much greater working together, and I think that's kind of the angle I take. I've done consultations before where I've gone out, they use a farrier, and I've actually said to the owner, you know what, your farrier is doing a really good job. I don't think you really need me to do the trimming necessarily, but I can give you kind of the support on the other areas that perhaps a farrier, you know, that isn't their topic area of interest. For example, I'm quite knowledgeable in my nutrition. I definitely can kind of point owners to resources in those areas. I have links to different professionals I can kind of refer them on to. I have a very good understanding of equine anatomy in general, so that can be the digestive system, respiratory system, the endocrine system, but that all comes from my previous qualifications. Whilst my barefoot trimming course obviously has taught me a lot in those areas as well, my degree has obviously given me that really good sort of overview of everything, and I can kind of weave that into consultations, and I can do that around a farrier actually trimming your horse, if that makes sense. A lot of farriers are actually getting more open to having a conversation with me these days. I'm not kind of greeted in the same animosity. It's so important to kind of review a person in their entirety and not kind of base it just based on their occupation title. There's great professionals in each camp, basically, is what I'm trying to kind of put out there. The reasons why a lot of my clients, or I feel my clients, trust me is that I am quite a personable person. I've got quite good energy. I'm very patient around horses, particularly horses that find having their hooves trimmed difficult. I've obviously got a lot of pathological cases, and they seem to be the cases that I seem to get. So people that have tried all different types of shoeing to basically fix their horses' hoof related problems. So my understanding of where the problems occur is very strong, and I'm pretty good at getting horse owners to understand that it is a long process to rehabilitate a lot of broken down hooves. Taking many years to get a horse in a pathological state, unless it's laminitis, that can happen very quickly, but particularly like your navicular cases and things like that, that's not happened overnight. That's been years of incorrect loading through the distal limb. So to correct a lot of, I suppose, foot related problems that have taken years to develop, I'm very good at kind of keeping a horse owner's morale up and getting them to stick with it, and I do that by giving them ongoing support. I'm there on the phone, they can WhatsApp me photographs, they can send me videos. You know, I'm pretty much available most weeks during normal working hours. You know, I can be there to be a support system for them on an emotional level, and whether a lot of farriers offer that same service, I don't know. Some may, some may not, but that's why I attract the clients that I attract, because they're sort of people that, yeah, they've been through quite a lot of trauma in trying to get their horses' hooves right. So collaborating, it's no different to kind of having a physiotherapist, a vet, a dentist. You know, you can have multiple people on your horse's team, that's absolutely fine. I think where it becomes a problem is where you're kind of having this open conversation and honesty. I think if you have a good working relationship with your hoof care professional at the moment, then you definitely owe them the honesty. So if you are thinking of going fully into a barefoot hoof care professional's books, or you want to use sort of two people to kind of help you with the transition, just have an honest conversation. I think that's always the best way. And I think as well, if you're going to hire a podiatrist, barefoot trimmer, they also need to be willing to talk to your farrier as well, because I just feel like this is how animosity is created for no reason. You've got to have an open dialogue. I think, to be honest with you, the industry is going the way that podiatrists, barefoot trimmers, whatever you want to call us, we are kind of not greeted in as bad of a way as we used to be. I definitely think the conversations are much better. I've definitely had better interactions in my day-to-day practice, where I've sort of pulled up and a farrier's there and we have a nice conversation and they know I'm not a jerk, basically. I think as long as they know that you're actually just human, we're all just human trying to do our best. Like, I will always advocate barefoot hooves because that's just what I believe in, but it doesn't mean I hate farriers, you know what I mean? So I definitely think whatever way you're going to go, my best advice would be not to go with someone that's got extremist views and they're very much in a box. Definitely pick someone who is open-minded. They don't trash talk people. They're very committed to you and your horse and the journey that you're going to be taking. You should trust them 100%. They need to be a professional. They need to be able to conduct themselves in a professional and polite manner, and that's the kind of person that you want. So regardless of what job title they have, my take-home message would be think about the person you're going to hire as their whole and in their entirety. You know, do you like their personality? Do you feel like you get along with them? Do you feel like you could ask them questions and they answer you? Do they bend over backwards to try and facilitate your horse's comfort? If yes, then wicked. Then you've got a really good person on your team, regardless if they are a farrier or a barefoot trimmer, equine podiatrist. There's a lot of very extreme views out there with false information that so it's going against scientific research, and I just think it's foolish and irresponsible. I think collectively more farriers and barefoot trimmers are actually realising there's more similarities between us than differences. At the end of the day, we're challenging years and years of tradition in farriery. You know, there's so much exciting stuff coming in farriery with like the different materials that they're now using. You know, shoe design's becoming more innovative, and I think in a few years the hoof care landscape is going to look completely different to what it does now. I just feel like the general dialogue online is just very negative, and I really want this channel to be about education for horse owners, give them the power to make the good decision and kind of see the good in a lot of things, because the industry has got a lot of good things about it. And yeah, I think I can give owners kind of the power to kind of know where the horses are at. Knowledge is power, for sure. I want to give horse owners the confidence, but I also want to make them feel good about their decision and not kind of feel overwhelmed with feeling like they have to pick a certain person because that's what social media says. Like, it's just, society is mad to me, really. I've become well acquainted with a couple of farriers in my area, and I think they're learning that I'm not trouble, and I do want to work with them and not against them. I will refer them work, and I've had work referred to me as well, so it's a good working relationship, and that's the way it should be. That to me is being a professional, so it's not about egos and butting heads all the time. So yeah, I hope this video has been useful. I tried to make it a bit shorter because I have this tendency to do 45-minute long videos. I was just out walking my dog this morning, had my camera on me, so I just thought, yeah, I'll just reel off a quick video for this week's upload. But as always, if you have any questions, please do drop them in the comments below. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye!